Welcome back to my channel. My name is Madison. I'm an incoming spring term veterinary student for St. George's University. In this video, I will be discussing tips and tricks for your VMCAS application. In my previous video, I just went over the basics. So we're just building from that, and I'm giving some pointers, tips, tricks, and let's get into it. Tip number 1, make your VMCAS account early. If you're applying to vet school for this cycle, the 2026-2027 cycle, you should have already made your account. If you haven't, which I doubt any of you have, but if you haven't, get on it. And you also do not need to make your VMCAS account the year that you plan on applying. You can make your VMCAS account as early as, I believe, high school. I made mine my freshman year of college and literally just built from it every year until my senior year when I applied. Tip number 2. Programs are open now, so go ahead and select every program that you're even slightly interested in. When you select a program, I think they get your email, and so they send you Zoom webinars and just updates about their timeline and where they are in the application process, and that way you're able to attend super helpful webinars and just be up to date on most current information. Super helpful. Along with selecting the programs, start doing some heavy research into each program. Each program is super different from one another, so you have to make sure, one, that your prereqs match. Not every school has the same prereqs. You want to make sure that every school you're applying to, if you need to have 100% of the prereqs done, which you do need to have for Michigan State, you want to make sure that they are done by the time your application is being submitted. Make sure that the prereqs are matching up. I know for some schools you need to have like 75% of prereqs done, so you really want to look at what they require and what you have done so far, so that you're not spending money or wasting money applying to a school you don't even have all the required classes for. Super important. Along with making sure that you have the correct prereqs and the correct amount done, ask yourself a few really critical questions. First, ask yourself, is this school too far from my support system? Everybody's different. How far away can you be before it starts to impact you mentally and physically? Vet school is already so stressful just because of the rigorous curriculum. You don't want that added stress of feeling like you are alone or you have nobody to help you and support you during the rigorous curriculum that you're going through. So be honest with yourself, how far away can you go? Personally, I didn't want to go too far, so I only applied to schools in the Midwest, and then I applied to St. George's, and I'm going thousands of miles away. So you just have to know yourself. Second, ask yourself, can I live comfortably in this climate? Being from Michigan, we get all 4 seasons, all 4 beautiful seasons. It just was like 30 degrees last week, and now it's 84 today. So you want to ask yourself, am I okay in this environment? You want to ask yourself, you're from Florida and you hate snow, it wouldn't make sense to apply to Michigan State. Next, does this program weigh academia heavier than the extracurriculars, or is it a more holistic approach? Again, each school is different. Personally, I did have a lower GPA, so I made sure to apply to schools that would look at me holistically. So ask yourself, what specialty or type of veterinarian does this school produce the most? Do they produce a lot of farm veterinarians? Do they produce a lot of researchers? What type of specialty is pushed or produced or the most popular at this school, and is that a specialty that you like? Obviously, every school has the main specialties, but you never know. If you're going to Oklahoma because you don't really like horses or just large animals, that might not be the best fit. Also, this is a really big question, and it can be hard to digest or answer, but it does need to be asked. Prior to going to school, can you afford to go there? Especially with the big beautiful bill and all the changes to student loans. I know this can be really hard. I've seen many of people decline their seat to their dream school because they cannot afford it. I completely understand. St. George's is going to be so expensive, and I'm probably going to be in debt for all my life, but is that a risk you're willing to take? Are you okay with that? Really ask yourself, can I afford this school, and what will my repayment plan look like when I'm outside of school? Really important, especially because of the amount of debt you're going to go into, and your ratio of debt to income is not going to be close those first few years. So you really got to ask yourself that. Number 4, ask your letter of recommenders for their letters a month in advance minimally. Set their deadline for submitting those letters a minimum of 2 weeks prior to September 15th or when your VMCAS application is due. You don't want to be stressing last minute waiting for that last letter to come in or trying to find a new letter of recommender because the old one fell through, or just scrambling. You don't want that. So ask for your letter early and then set the deadline earlier than when your VMCAS application is due. Along with, provide your recommenders with a few key points, including, obviously they will know where they know you from, but tell them where they know you from, how long they have known you, what your job is at the place of work, or whether it's your basketball coach. They will know these things, but it's helpful to give them more points to add in your letter of recommendation just to beef it up. Significant accomplishments inside your place of work or inside your extracurriculars, as well as outside things that they may not know. Just again, giving them more things to talk about in your letter of recommendation. And also ask them to highlight any characteristics that you find important and want to be highlighted as well in your letter. Whether it's you're a leader, you're resilient, give them these key points to make it as easy as possible for them to get the letter in. You can even give them your resume. You don't have to, but again, it doesn't hurt to help give them more things to talk about in your letter. Number 5, check your email regularly. VMCAS and the programs or schools are sending emails on the regular, sending you updates about where they are in the application timeline, webinars that are coming up, financial information or tips, or just giving you changes that are going on with the current administration. So you just want to check your email on the regular. Tip number 6 kind of goes hand in hand with that. VMCAS, like I said, will be sending out webinars. They send out, it's like a Zoom open house, so you can hear from all the programs and get real, most up-to-date information from admissions committees and advisors. You can get your questions answered and just talk to the people that work at the school you're applying firsthand. It's so helpful. I totally recommend that everybody applying to that school go to those webinars, especially the open house webinar, because it's like the information is handed to you on a plate. Why not take it, right? So for sure attend that webinar, but also attend smaller webinars that VMCAS puts on. I know they put on one for financial aid after the big beautiful bill was pushed through. Obviously the open house webinar. I went to multiple webinars about writing a personal statement and writing your experiences, and just got the most feedback and information that I could to make the best application I could. Again, like I said earlier, when you choose programs, they get your email and they send out mass emails from a mailing list, I assume, and they send out webinars, Zoom webinars, and I attended one for Tufts University, which I didn't even apply to, but I was interested in, so I selected them. And I went to a super helpful webinar discussing the personal statement, and I implemented many of the tips they gave into my application, into my personal statement, which was super helpful. I attended a webinar for LSU that discussed a holistic approach and how LSU looked over and went over applications and exactly what they were looking for in their potential incoming students. So it's so much information that these schools are giving. You just want to make sure you're receptive and taking it in. So check your email, sign up for those programs, and attend those webinars. Student Doctor Network is so helpful. It is an online forum where different doctorate programs, podiatry, I saw, dentistry, human medicine, veterinary medicine, they come and create threads for the different application cycles, and you're able to talk with other pre-veterinary students who also applied and, ask questions, get your questions answered, give information that you heard from another source and want to share with other people. It's basically like Reddit, but for doctorate programs. It's super helpful. It was really nice sharing that nervous energy and those nervous feelings with other pre-veterinary students who were also nervous. We were able to validate each other and ask questions about, oh, I just got an email saying they're sending out decisions letters this day. Did anybody else get this email? And then somebody else says, yeah, I got it. I also heard that they're going to be sending out acceptance letters this day. The class size is full. They're going to be sending out wait lists this day. It's so nice. It's really a community, and we discuss literally everything that has to do with the application. I was a part of forums for the class of 2030 for Michigan State Veterinary School, Purdue's Vet School, Illinois St. Georges, Arkansas, and even a class of 2030 waitlist thread. I will say be careful about the things that you say, especially when you are stressed out and or are feeling a little bit frustrated with admissions committees. There are admissions committee members and or advisors in most of these forums, and you don't want them to take your comments and factor those into their decisions about your application. So just be careful about the things that you say. Tip number 8 is to write your personal statement early. I started writing my personal statement my freshman year, and every year 2-3 times a year I would change it. You just want to write. You're in the brainstorming stage, especially still now in May. I know it feels like the application is due next week. It feels like it's around the corner, but it's not. So take a deep breath. We're still in the early parts of the cycle. Just write your personal statement right now. Not edit your personal statement right now. I would literally just sit and write different intros, different conclusions, or different endings. Talk about my main topics in different formats, restructure, and I just wrote and brainstormed and wrote and brainstormed and wrote and brainstormed. I wrote concept maps about different information I wanted to add. I did bullet points. I was literally just word vomiting everything in my head about veterinary medicine that I wanted to put in my personal statement. And months later, I went back through that vomit and made a masterpiece, in my opinion. Yes, I would literally say don't start editing or don't start critiquing your work until June, because you're messing up that brainstorming and that beautiful creativity and getting those wheels spinning. Make a completely different video about the personal statement because it's so important. Tip number 9, your GPA does not define you. Your GPA does not define you. Having that 4.0 is always everyone's goal. We always want that highest GPA possible, perfect. But life happens, and that's not always possible, and that is fine. Admissions committees are not looking for perfection, they're looking for growth. So you don't have that perfect GPA, okay? Now from there, do you need to do a post-bac? Do you need to do a master's? Or can you retake classes and show significant enough growth that the admissions committee is confident that you would do well with such a rigorous curriculum? You get a D or a C in the class initially, we retake it, we get an A and B, we show that growth, we show that we are capable of taking on more rigorous classes. Tip number 10, perfect 10, distinguish your application. I know that's kind of an obvious one, but yes, we want to set our application apart from the other 2,000 people applying to vet school. It's already so challenging to get into veterinary school because there's so few. It's a fight, it's a battle, and we want to be the person with the sharpest sword. So how can we do that? One, we can do research of any type. It does not need to be animal related research. In undergrad, I did a semester of research with plants and dirt. I studied bacteria growth on plants and showed how it affected the plant's growth. Right? That's just to sum it up, very much paraphrasing, but yes, do research with plants and dirt. Not many people are able to do research or do research in undergrad. That's the easy way to distinguish your application, so I highly recommend doing research. Another way to distinguish your application is through internships with veterinary schools. As an undergrad, I did a internship at Michigan State. It's called their Enrichment Summer Program. It's for disadvantaged and minority students. Being an African American myself, I am a part of that minority. That looks so good on your application. I just finished 10-hour shifts, so I look crazy, and this is my second time recording this video part. I don't have any storage on my phone, so when I record these videos, I gotta delete stuff, and I think I either deleted this part of the video or it didn't get saved. Either way, we're here. But I was talking about the Enrichment Summer Program. It was 3 weeks at Michigan State. I took first-year veterinary classes. I talked with many different veterinarians about their job. I talked with a toxicologist, an epidemiologist, a Purina veterinarian. She worked in food, like creating food for pets. I talked with a general practice and a large animal practice veterinarian as well. My 3rd week, I got to shadow at the actual Michigan State Hospital, and I was able to shadow in the large animal section of the hospital. Super big hospital, and I really enjoyed my time there. I highly recommend the Enrichment Summer Program for disadvantaged and minority students, so please apply. Third way to distinguish your application is with broadening your experiences. I know it's super easy to get general practice hours, with your cats and dogs, but if you can expand upon that with, let's say, exotics, large animal, food medicine, or even working like a lab with mice, that makes you just look that much better and that much more well-rounded, and I highly, highly recommend that if possible. Again, it's not always the easiest and it may not be possible. That's completely fine. Sorry that this video is blotchy. It shouldn't happen again. I got some storage on my phone. Please follow my TikTok and Instagram and subscribe. All three socials are Just Joiner DVM Candidate or Just Joiner. And stay tuned for more. Bye.